Please read this disclaimer carefully before proceeding further. Welcome traders to this week's analysis of gold, XAU, USD. Thanks for joining me here. My name is Vic. We're going to start looking from the higher time frame because we have just finished the month of July and August has started. So it's time to revise and to see where we are standing, and then we'll go down deeper into lower time frames to see if there are any kind of trade opportunities that we can have in coming days and weeks. Right, so this is what we have been looking at in terms of trade opportunities and the structure since August 2020. The market created a W pattern here, and we knew that the market was going to fall down because it reached a particular Fibonacci level here, and it also created a set of specific rules which told us that the market was going to go down, and it reached the profit target level here around 1680 level, and that's why we have been short from 2070 to 1680 level. We have been taking several short positions. Primarily we took long positions, but our bias has been towards the short side. Once it reached 1680 level, we changed our bias to the long because we knew that that level could actually push the price back up, and it actually did. The market started to go higher, and now in the previous month, let me actually clear this up. So in the previous month, what happened here is that this was a huge rejection which happened, and then in the month of July it tried to recover some of the lost ground in the month of June. That happened. So what happened here is, if I draw a trend line something like this is what happened. The market created a fake breakout using these two candles. It was trying to go up, but almost immediately it got shot down, and now it is still within this trend line. So it is telling that unless this trend line is broken to the upside and we get a confirmation on weekly or monthly basis, we do not know whether it is going to go up. So what kind of situations, what kind of scenarios can happen here on monthly time frame? So we have this W pattern forming. So if the market starts to go higher and closes beyond this, then we are looking for higher prices in gold. It will probably come back here to retest the previous high, and then it can continue to go higher. That's one of the scenarios on multi-month basis. Another scenario that we can have is the market may go up a little bit because there are few factors here which we'll talk about in a second. Market may come there, create another fake breakout of this trend line, and then fall back down to the downside around this support previous structure level, around that level here, and in that process it will create an M pattern. Okay, once it has reached that level, because this is previous structure support here, the market will probably go back up into this trend line once again, or the previous structure support here, resistance here. Right, that's another scenario. Extension to that scenario is, because you see the market is creating an M pattern here, and all it is trying to do right now is maybe a little bit of zigzag consolidation, and if it falls down and breaks through this midpoint, then we are looking for further downward movement into 1500 something, 1550 area or so. So these are all the scenarios. If we start looking from a different point of view, then we have something like this happening. Not everybody is looking interpreting the charts in the same manner. So what we have is, you can consider this as a cup and then handle. So a lot of people will think that the market is expected to go higher. That may be the scenario, but it is not quantifiable. So how do you quantify where the cup and handle is actually finishing and all that, right? So it's quite possible that handle can actually go deeper a little bit and then start to go higher. Remember, on multi-month and multi-year basis, I am still bullish on gold, but we trade what we see. Investment is different and trading is different. So if you're trading, then you should be looking at all the time frames and try to stay objective irrespective of your investment bias. So the gold can actually go higher on multi-month and multi-year basis, definitely, and it can actually start to go higher from this point where it is standing. But for that to happen, remember we just spoke about this, it has to first of all go and close above this, and then go and challenge this, right? This can also lead to a bigger W pattern which can push the price down, and that will turn into a double top. So there are a few barriers which can actually lead the price to the downside, and once these two barriers are broken, then only we can expect market to go higher. Okay, on the downside, if we break through the midpoint, then we are looking for a downside. So this is what we have on the monthly time frame. If I go and look at the weekly time frame now, so what has happened on weekly time frame? This was a huge sell-off that actually happened, and this was kind of expected because this entire price action was overextended. So when there is an overextension, the market tries to go for a huge correction, sudden and huge correction like that, and that's what happened. And similar sort of thing is happening right where we are standing. If I just show you the daily time frame, you see this is again very extended sort of price action that happened here, and you see that's why the price suddenly fell down at a very high pace. And this is still not done. All of this is still kind of overextension. This is overextension as well, so at some point in time the price is expected to fall down. This was overextension here, and the price went really high up in very small period of time. So these are all the patterns which are going to get cleared up ultimately. So what we can expect is that market may actually go higher because it is forming a W pattern here. So let me clear this up and zoom in into this. So there are a few scenarios here on lower time frame. One is the market is creating a W pattern, and which is going to get completed as somewhere around here, some 1880 or 1880 level as well, around that area. But for that to happen, it has to go through this midpoint, right? It has to break through this. So far it is forming kind of a double top here, and if this market starts to go down and it breaks through this level here, which we were expecting, if it actually breaks through this, then we are looking for a downward move into near about 1769. Give me just 1 second, I'll give you the exact number. Yeah, 1769, near about that level or so. So that is a possibility, and that is a previous structure as well. So after that it can start to move, and once this has happened, this overextension will be cleared. Okay, so there are a few cases here. So what we need to do is we need to wait for the right moment. We need to wait for the proper confirmation, and that actually brings us to the previous analysis that we had. So if I show you the previous analysis, what happened, and go to the daily time frame, reset this. Actually, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, right, so remember we were actually looking into this particular zone. This is a very, very good FCP zone that we had, and it actually acted as a very good support level here as well. Price actually kept on going to this level, and it also hovered around 1806 important level here. When the price actually started to move higher last week towards the end of the month, because this is what I've said several times in previous analysis as well. I've seen last couple of hours actually changing the entire candle of the month as well. So month end and month start are very, very important. Your entire analysis can be validated or invalidated in last few hours or last few days of the month. So you have to be extra careful. If you were taking a short trade in this case, and if you were not doing any kind of risk management, I'm sure you got stuck in this. And each time, most of the traders, they try to average their positions and all that, and they just keep on getting stuck. So always use proper risk management, and always be careful of the month end and weekend. Okay, so the market, when it started to go up, there were few gaps left, and ultimately gold never actually leaves any gaps open. So ultimately at some point in time it is going to come back down to fill those gap up. So that's the bearish scenario. There is a gap left at 1820. Why? Because you see the market created this W pattern right into this FCP zone that we had. We have been looking into these two FCP zones for quite a while now. So each time market comes around here, it starts to fall down. So we are actually in a consolidation. If you can't see it, we are running in a consolidation, and unless we see a breakout to the upside, we cannot say that the market is bullish. Unless we see it breakout to the downside, we cannot say that this is bearish. But you see, this price action needs to be cleared, and at some point in time it is going to come back down. So this is a gap left at around 1820. So what can I expect is that market may actually try to go up into this and then start to fall back down to close all of these gaps which are there and come back into this consolidate into this FCP zone that we have. That is a possibility. Another possibility is that the market may go up and continue to go up, breaks through this midpoint, this previous structure here. Why that is a midpoint? Remember we saw that just a moment ago. That is actually a midpoint of this W pattern that we are forming. So if it breaks through that midpoint, then we are looking for 1880 level or so. There are two gaps left at 1880 and 1865 level as well. So if the price actually breaks through this, then all of these barriers are going to act as resistance, but ultimately is expected to come and close these gaps at some point in time around 1880. So first will be like in around 1860. That is a good FCP zone. Then we have around 1880, we have FCP zone and the gap as well. So the market can actually push to that and then fall back down, and it can come back down all the way to 1769 or even lower than that. That is a possibility in coming weeks or months. So what we should do is, how do we trade this? How do we find the plan, right? So the plan is to see how the market is reacting around this. All of these levels are going to act as support and resistance. So if the market starts to go higher, then watch out for 1820. That should be your first port of call. And if it actually starts to break through this, then all of these levels will act as resistance. If the market breaks through this previous structure level of 1834, 1835, then you are looking for higher prices. So upper levels will be your profit targets and resistance level. If the market starts to fall down, then you are looking for 1806 area where the gap is left, and then we have another gap left around this 1800 level as well. We are still in consolidation, so you can expect this up and down movement for some time to happen unless we see a clear breakout either to the upside or to the downside. So this is what we have on here. Let's see what we have on Vata and Visage. Now Vata and Visage is also telling us that on monthly basis that we still have this target open at 1547. That is still valid. However, because the market is running inside a consolidation, there can be a little bit of upward movement and downward movement. On weekly time frame, what we have is that this trend has turned bearish. So the gold ultimately is going to fall down, because it has never been bearish for so long. Like since August 2018, it has been bullish. This is the first time it has turned bearish. So what we have is that on multi-week or multi-month basis, it can be bearish, but that does not mean that it cannot just go up. It cannot go up to close those gaps and then fall back down and reach this profit target. And once it has reached that profit target, it would have broken through this midpoint, and that means it would have gone to 1500s. So this is what we have on weekly time frame on Vata and Visage. By the way, if you are interested in Vata and Visage subscription, then it is going to come back in August very soon. So watch out for the notifications in the Telegram group. On daily time frame, we now have a bullish scenario here, and this is the bullish target that we have got, which coincides with our analysis that we just did. So near about 1860 level or so, near about there. But that's the conservative targets. When Vata gives a target in the white dot, these are conservative targets. Now this one actually did not work out. The reason behind that is because this was of little lower priority. Why? Because the trend changed later, and the curve actually the trend changed before that. So when that happens, it becomes of lower priority. In this case, both colors have changed around the same time, so this signal is of better quality now. So this is the entire analysis of gold. Hope you enjoyed this analysis and found this useful. If it did, make sure you share it with other traders and trading communities, and make sure you also put in a comment and hit the like button, because that is going to help us to reach other traders as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a great trading week next week. If you're interested in learning how to analyze the markets the way I do using Fibonacci Confluence, then head over to vikinsa.com, and under training section you'll be able to see Core Strategy Training Program. On this page you'll be able to see the testimonials of previous students and also look at the brochure. The brochure has a lot more information including the course structure and the Fibonacci Confluence Training Program curriculum. This is a very extensive program in which we cover basic core Fibonacci concepts along with the advanced concepts to analyze the markets with high probability. If you're interested in joining this program, come to vikinsa.com, and under training section you'll be able to see and submit this form.